444.
Brain of Britain 2006. A nationwide general knowledge contest for the title Brain of Britain 2006. The chairman is Robert Robinson.
Hello again. Well, let me welcome you back to the great dipstick of the mind. We start our new series with 4 contestants from London. They are Philip Green, a facilities manager, Stuart Solomons, who is currently unemployed, David Stainer, a solicitor, and Andrew Thomas, an editor now retired. Now, I'm sure you will recall the rules. 5 correct answers in a row gets you the extra mark for being clever enough to show everyone how to do it. 10 seconds, of course, for putting your finger on the right answer, and it's marked by this bell. Once heard as Lord Reith rode his tricycle through the corridors of Broadcasting House. Now, the first question goes to Mr. Green, and it's this. Which canine heroine, whose exploits were brought to the cinema screen once again late last year, made her first appearance in the 1940 novel by Eric Knight?
Lassie?
Yes, inevitably so. Which German term for union has been applied particularly to the annexation of Austria by Germany in 1938?
Anschluss.
Yes. Which planet was discovered by William Herschel in 1781?
Uranus.
Yeah, if that's how you like to pronounce
That's how
it.
I like to pronounce it.
You seldom hear it these days. Which city was the principal venue for the 2006 Winter Olympics?
Lake Placid.
No. Mr. Stainer?
Turin.
Turin is right. Well done, sir. A noble city like a set of Regent Streets, but twice as tall, said Leigh Hunt. But all Arnold Bennett said after the same city when he'd been there, very large and rectangular. It's what you'd expect, really, of Arnold. Now, it's your turn, Mr. Solomons. Which collective name for the Netherlands, Belgium and Luxembourg was coined in the late 1940s following a customs union?
Benelux.
Yes, doesn't it sound like a soap powder? I mean, no offence intended. Of which English county, Mr. Solomons, is Oakham, the county town?
Rutland.
It is. Which of the quarter days of the legal calendar in England, Wales and Northern Ireland falls on the 25th of March and was once the legal beginning of the new year?
Lady Day.
Right. Earlier this year, a new arts venture began in Glasgow with the inaugural programme of the NTS. What is the NTS?
National Theatre of Scotland.
Well done, it came to you. Do give him a clap. Oh, yes. He didn't know he knew it. Isn't that right, Mr. Solomon?
Pure guess.
Yes, of course. Charles Pooter and his wife Carrie are the central characters of which 1892 novel by the Grossmith brothers?
Diary of a Nobody.
You're right. Poor old Pooter, always 5 in a row, 5 in a row. I'm getting... I'm just going to say about poor old Pooter, always, one down. I left the room, he said, with silent dignity, but on the way out, my foot caught in the mat. And that's the whole story of his life. But 5 in a row and an extra mark for Mr. Solomons. We now pass to Mr. Stainer. What was the name of the hurricane which devastated the city of New Orleans last year?
Katrina.
Yes. Why on earth they give such cute names to natural disasters, I can't tell. It's always puzzled me. Bit of a mystery, really. Which term was apparently coined by Theodore Roosevelt somewhat disparagingly to describe a group of campaigning writers at the turn of the 20th century who exposed corruption in American big business and government?
Muckrakers?
Yes, with the design of which everyday items was the 17th, 18th century craftsman Thomas Tompion most associated?
Clocks?
Yes. Which fur gives its name in heraldry to a design of a white field with black symbols representing tails?
Sable?
No. Mr. Green?
Ermine.
Ermine is quite right. And now it comes to Mr. Thomas. This year sees the 200th anniversary of the death of the youngest man to be elected British Prime Minister. What was his name?
William Pitt the Younger.
Yes, you're quite right. You're quite right. John Banville, Mr. Thomas, won the 2005 Man Booker Prize with his novel The Sea. Which writer and philosopher won in 1978 with one entitled The Sea, the Sea?
Penelope Fitzgerald.
No, Mr. Green?
Iris Murdoch.
Iris Murdoch is quite right. Well done. And that, yes, I know you want to. I knew you were going to. Let us, at the end of the round, see how the scores are. They are these: 1 to Mr. Thomas, 4 to Mr. Stainer, 5 to Mr. Green, 6 to Mr. Solomons. Mr. Green, the name of which signatory of the American Declaration of Independence became, because of his large and clear signature, a slang term for a signature?
Benjamin Franklin.
Nope. Mr. Stainer?
John Hancock.
John Hancock. Mr. Solomons, distinguished primarily by their pelvic structures, ornithischians and saurischians are the two major groupings of which extinct creatures?
Dinosaurs?
Yes. Which country is, apart from a narrow coastal strip, entirely surrounded by Senegal?
Ivory Coast?
No. Mr. Green?
Upper Volta.
No. Mr. Stainer?
The Gambia.
The Gambia is quite right. And now to Mr. Stainer again. The inlet, known as the Golden Horn, divides which city?
Buenos Aires.
Nope. Mr. Green?
Copenhagen.
Nope. Mr. Thomas?
Istanbul.
Is quite right, sir. Istanbul. Well done. Your turn, Mr. Thomas. What was the name of the god of mischief and trickery in Norse mythology?
No, I've forgotten.
No?
Sorry.
Mr. Green?
Loci.
Yes, you're quite right. And at the end of that second round, we'll see how the scores have changed. Now, Mr. Thomas has 2, Mr. Stainer 6, Mr. Green 6, and Mr. Solomons 7. Can you tell us, Mr. Green, which great victory of Horatio Nelson's is also known as the Battle of Aboukir Bay?
The Nile.
Yes. In which English city would you find the major art collection contained in the Walker Art Gallery?
Leicester.
No. Mr. Solomons, your light was on.
Say Glasgow.
No. Mr. Stainer?
Liverpool.
Liverpool, quite right. Mr. Solomons, there are 2 high-profile United Nations posts with the title of High Commissioner. Can you tell us what either of these posts covers? Just one is required.
High Commissioner to Australia.
No. Mr. Green?
Refugees.
Yes, you're quite right, and the other one is human rights. Well done. Mr. Stainer, we now hear a national anthem, one of the oldest and one of the few to have no official words. Of unknown composer and disputed origins, it was first adopted as a march of honour in 1770, although not officially described as the national anthem until 1942. It had been replaced during the 1930s by another tune, which caused considerable upset when it was played by mistake at the Davis Cup final in 2003. Which country's national anthem is it? It seems to me all national anthems sound exactly the same. And again, no offence intended. Now, what country?
Spain.
Is quite right. It is called the Marcha Real, the Royal March, and there it was, the Spanish national anthem. A central courtyard garden at the Bank of England contains 4 trees of a very appropriate type, since it was from the bark of this tree that the first banknotes were made in China. What type of tree is it? Inspired guesswork here, perhaps.
A money tree.
No, I don't think there is one. Now, who else is going to try? Mr. Green?
An elm.
No. Mr. Solomons.
Oak.
No. Now, Mr. Thomas, have a guess.
Oh, maidenhair tree.
No. Mulberry is the answer. Well, well. Now it's your turn, Mr. Thomas. For what purpose would drugs generically known as NSAIDs be prescribed?
I don't know.
You don't want to have a guess. No. You look as though I'm teasing you on to do something shameful when I say have a guess. Mr. Stainer.
Non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs.
I think that's the whole thing, yeah. You got the whole thing there. All we wanted was, anti-inflammatory, but you got the lot. And at the end of that round, how do the scores stand now? We have 2 for Mr. Thomas, 7 for Mr. Solomons, 8 for Mr. Green, 9 for Mr. Stainer. And now we're about halfway through our game, and we have 2 questions, traditionally, as ever, sent in by a listener and designed to skittle out all 4 of our contestants at a blow, or perhaps more precisely at 2 blows. Here is the first of 2 questions sent in by Mr. R.P. Clark of Enfield, Middlesex. You put your heads together and consult one with another. Where would stackies, stumpies, and swimmies have been found? Do not shout it out. You might be out of the brownies if you do.
Swimmies, stumpies, and snackies. I'll go for the only thing.
I think Mr. Clark has
in a
got
bag
them on
of
the
golf clubs. Are they archaic names for golf?
Mustn't ask me questions. No, I take that as an answer. They're not golf clubs, but they could be, couldn't they? Very good, sensible, sort of insightful answer, but it's the wrong one. They would be found in the Thames estuary, because they're all types of Thames sailing barge. Yes. Right, here comes Mr. Clark's second question. What actual rank did Horatio Nelson hold at the Battle of Trafalgar?
I think he was a vice admiral.
Vice Admiral.
Rear ad. No, it wouldn't be rear ad. Vice admiral.
I think so. I don't think so.
We'll go vice admiral.
Yeah.
Vice Admiral.
Yes, Vice Admiral, but you didn't say of what. Vice Admiral is something called the White. I think that was one of the squadrons. But Vice Admiral is perfectly correct. Well done. However, you got 1, Mr. Clark got 1. By our quaint rules, that means Mr. Clark has won. He gets a book token and this round of applause. Now, Mr. Green, we start again with you. How is Auburn, once, quote, the loveliest village of the plain, described in the title of a poem by Oliver Goldsmith, published in 1770?
The deserted village.
Yes, you're quite right, sir, the deserted village. Goldsmith, I learn, was very, very talkative, but his conversation wasn't admired by his contemporaries, as Garrick, another chum, rather rudely remarked, "Here lies Nolly Goldsmith, for shortness called Noll, who wrote like an angel and talked like poor Poll." It is rather rude, but still, he was a pal, so it probably didn't matter. What does the Gaelic place name element kill mean?
It's a church.
It does. Which 15th to 16th century guru was the founder of Sikhism?
Is it Guru Naranda?
No. Mr. Stainer?
Guru Nanak.
Yes. You nearly got it, Mr. Green, but not quite. Mr. Stainer had it right on the button.
Gaelic's better
Mr.
than my
Solomon.
Punjabi.
Say it again.
My Gaelic is much better than my Punjabi.
Mr. Solomons, the aeroplane which dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima was famously called Enola Gay. Who was Enola Gay?
She was the mother of the pilot of the aircraft.
That's absolutely right. What is the general name given to the group of tropical fruits of the genus Annona, which includes soursop, sweet sop, and cherimoya, among others, because of the resemblance of their soft flesh to another foodstuff entirely? No?
No.
Mr. Green?
Pineapple?
No. Mr. Stainer?
Breadfruit.
No. Can you have a go, Mr. Thomas?
I was going to say
Oh.
Brooklyn.
Custard apples is the answer. Mr. Stainer this year marks the 50th anniversary of the retirement of the only world heavyweight boxing champion to do so undefeated. What was his name?
Rocky Marciano.
It was. Which courtly dance came over time to give its name to the third movement of a classical symphony?
No, I'm afraid I don't know.
Don't know. Someone else? Mr. Solomons?
Sir Roger de Coverley.
No. Mr. Green?
Is it Galliard?
No. Now, Mr. Thomas?
Pavan.
No. All round it, the minuet is the answer. Now it's your turn, Mr. Thomas. An American mathematician named Claude Shannon is usually credited through the publication of a paper in the late 1940s with providing the foundations for a branch of scientific study which has been primarily applied in the field of communications, although its importance in many other areas it is increasingly being recognized. What's it called?
Nanotechnology.
No. Mr. Stainer?
Cryptography.
No. The others have a go. Mr. Solomons, Mr. Green? No. The answer is information theory. Yep. And at the end of the round, let's see what the scores are. They are these: 2 to Mr. Thomas, 8 to Mr. Solomons, 10 to Mr. Green, 11 to Mr. Stainer. Mr. Green, elected in November of last year and installed in January this year, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf became the first freely elected African female head of state. In which country?
Liberia.
It was. On which river does Portugal's second city, Porto, stand?
The Douro.
Yes. And as Captain Marriott said, the Portuguese and the English have always been the best of friends because we can't get port wine anywhere else. Very good reason. Which term, coined in the 16th century to describe excessively literary or pedantic language, does so by allusion to a common name at the time for a receptacle for ink? No? Mr. Stainer?
Verbiage.
No. You couldn't say dip your pen in the verbiage. Well, you might. You might. Of course you might. Good try. The others don't know? Inkhorn is the answer. Mr. Solomons, which Egyptian pharaoh, and we need his name and number, who ruled for some 66 years and is the subject of colossal statues at Abu Simbel and elsewhere, was immortalized by Shelley as Ozymandias, King of Kings?
Ramesses II.
Yes. Well done, both. Very good. The material known as scagliola has since antiquity been used to imitate which other material?
Silk.
No. Mr. Green?
Ivory.
No. Mr. Stainer?
Marble.
Marble is quite right. Well done. Now, Mr. Stainer, which businessman and philanthropist wrote a book called The Gospel of Wealth and had given away an estimated $350 million by the time of his death in 1919?
Carnegie.
Yes. In computing, how many bits are there in a nibble?
4.
You're right. And that was a guess, wasn't it?
Educated. Guess.
Yeah, well done. 4. A nibble is half a bite, it says here. Who, in the biblical Apocrypha, asks the question, Domine quo vadis, to the risen Christ outside Rome?
I'm afraid I don't know.
Yeah, surely a guess, no? No? Mr.
even
Green?
that.
Was it a centurion?
No. Mr. Solomons?
Lazarus.
No. Now, Mr. Thomas?
St. James.
No. St. Peter is the answer, yes. And whose turn is it? It's yours, Mr. Thomas. Of which Asian country is Khalkha the official language? K-H-A-L-K-A.
Mongolia.
It is. Now, here comes a music question. The Swedish singer Birgit Nilsson died at the age of 87 on Christmas Day last year. She was considered the greatest Wagnerian soprano of her day, and we now hear her in a role which she sang on her Covent Garden debut in 1957. What is the role? And the role was which?
Brunhilde?
Yes, indeed, Brunhilde. Heard there at the climax of Wagner's Ring Cycle, the funeral pyre scene from Goethe-Dämmerung, performed by the Bayreuth Festival Orchestra, conducted by Carl Böhm. And she was a great wag, really, was Birgit Nielsen. Someone asked her what was the chief requirement for performing Wagner, and she famously replied, comfortable shoes. And once, when Siegfried came to wake her from her magical sleep as Brunhilde, she was wearing on her bosom a do not disturb sign. Go into the jungle with a woman like that. Mr. Thomas again. Which 19th century Russian author suffered from depression and religious mania in the last part of his life and deliberately burned the second volume of his great satire on feudalism, Dead Souls?
Gogol?
Yes, you're right. It has been estimated that before all men in Britain over 21 were given the vote, perhaps 2/3 were ineligible. In which year did this great increase occur?
1906.
No. Mr. Solomons?
1970.
No. Mr. Stainer?
1831.
No. Jolly good date, 1831. Must have been lots going on then. Mr. Green? Oh, do pick one.
1867.
No. 1918. You missed it by one, Mr. Solomons. Bad luck indeed. At the end of that particular round, let's see how the scores have moved. They are now these. 5 to Mr. Thomas, 9 to Mr. Solomons, 12 to Mr. Green, 14 to Mr. Stainer. And we embark on our final round with Mr. Green. Which French word is used for a roll or knot of hair worn at the back of the head and neck? By ladies, I think.
A plait.
No. Mr. Stainer?
Chignon.
Chignon is quite right. Well done. Mr. Solomons, earlier this year, Christian Schwarz-Schilling of Germany took over as the international community's high representative in Bosnia, replacing a former leader of a British political party. Who is the Briton?
Paddy Ashdown.
Yes. What, in mathematical terms, is an exponent?
One of the indices.
Say some more. Give me an example.
Like 7 to the power of 5.
Yes, sir. That's what we wanted. It's a number indicating the power to which another is to be raised. Well done. Yes. Now, another one for you, sir. Which game is Tinsley Green, near Crawley in West Sussex, the site of an annual Good Friday Championship, regarded as the game's major event?
Croquet.
No. Mr. Stainer?
Tiddlywinks.
No. Mr. Green?
Cheese rolling.
No, not cheese rolling. That's done somewhere else, I think. Oh, do have a guess, Mr. Thomas.
Oh, lacrosse.
No, not lacrosse. Marbles is the answer. Marbles, yes. Mr. Stainer, which long-term geological and geographical process is described by the term orogeny?
Mountain building.
Yes. Which great chef who died in 1935 was the first of that profession to receive the Légion d'honneur?
Escoffier.
Yes, indeed. A great student of cuisine and who once said, I am full of my subject. This year is the 100th anniversary of the birth of which great film director, responsible for, among others, Sunset Boulevard and The Apartment?
Billy Wilder.
Yes. Who became the British Poet Laureate in 1930, succeeding Robert Bridges, a post he held until his death in 1967?
John Masefield.
Yes. And at the end of his laureateship, he gloomily said, I'm like an old clock that has lost its hands. Nobody tells the time by me anymore. Rather sad, but he was there a long time. The Oder-Neisse line was a border drawn up by their allies at the end of the Second World War. Which two countries did it separate?
Poland and Germany.
Yep, Poland and East Germany we've got here, but they're just being very precise. 5 in a row, ladies and gentlemen. And that earns Mr. Stainer the extra mark. Mr. Thomas, The Italian word giornata, translated as in a day's work, relates specifically to the area which can be painted in that time in a particular medium, the joins between different giornate often being visible. Which medium is it?
Plaster.
No. Mr. Stainer?
Oils.
No. Mr. Green?
Is it whitewash?
No. Don't be left out, Mr. Solomons, I beg.
Sort of tempera?
No. Fresco is the answer. And Mr. Stainer got it after all, but a little too late. Now that brings us to the end of our competition on this occasion, and I'll give you the final scores. 5 to Mr. Thomas, 11 to Mr. Solomons, 12 to Mr. Green, 21 to Mr. Stainer. So well done, Mr. Stainer, who showed a clean pair of heels to all the others who did very well themselves. But Mr. Stainer goes forward to the semi-finals. Next week we have 4 more contestants from London. Until then, I bid you goodbye.
The chairman of Brain of Britain was Robert Robinson. The questions were set by Kevin Ashman and the programme was devised by John P. Wynne. The producer was Richard Edis.